Sweaty bands, the headbands that don't slip. You're probably wondering what a sweaty band is and why it's called a sweaty band. This is a headband that is specifically made for a purpose, and I'll get into that a little bit later, but it is a headband mostly used for exercise or any kind of outdoor activity, but recently it has become a headband of a fashion trend. These are fun headbands that have a cool design on the front, and then also on the back it is created with velvet. And here's a quick video about sweaty bands.
Hi, this is Donna, creator of Sweaty Bands. Let me introduce you to some of my sweaty friends. Sweaty bands are a non-slip, strangely absorbent, and hand-washable headband. We have over 1,000 styles to choose from. Thick, thin, sporty, goofy, elegant, customizable, and all totally diva-licious. Try one on and become a member of the Sweaty Nation. Sweaty Bands, inspiring fitness.
In that video, you saw the different uses for sweaty bands and how they can be used in everyday life. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the history and how they got started. Donna Browning was the creator and owner of Sweaty Bands, and she started out as a fitness instructor, and during her classes she found that when she was doing motions and doing a bunch of different exercises, her headbands would slip out of her head, and she found that the girls and the men taking the classes also had that problem. So she went home one night and decided she was going to create a headband that would not slip and be perfect for an exercise environment. So she created a headband that is different material on the front. It can vary from like silk or anything, and then on the back it is velvet. And so in 2007, Sweaty Bands became a company, and the headquarters is actually located in Cincinnati, Ohio. And it's kind of ironic too, because Cincinnati is home to many athletic teams such as the Cincinnati Reds and the Cincinnati Bengals. So having Sweaty Bands being a headquarter there, it kind of relates back to the history of Cincinnati and all the sports teams that go along with it. Their headquarters is located across the street from the Lunken Airport on Wilmer Avenue. Here's a picture of an aerial view of it. And here's another picture of the actual front of this warehouse. And located in their warehouse, they also have a store available for customers to come in and look at all the different bands and all the different ways you can buy them and wear them. Along with being sold in their warehouse, Sweaty Bands are now being sold all over in different types of locations. For example, they're sold in over 2,500 different retail locations around the world. Examples being Dick's Sporting Goods, Nordstrom, and they even did a select line with Target stores. So let's go in a little bit about who uses this type of headband. Different types of people can actually use it. For example, runners, people who partake in yoga, and it can be even used as a fashion trend. Sweaty bands have become a product of culture because they enhance the lives of everyone who uses them, whether it is for keeping hair tied back or for wearing them fashionably. I know from personal experience, I love wearing my sweaty bands out even when I'm not doing an athletic activity. I like to wear them because it shows a little bit about my style from the designs on the front, and it also just adds a pop of color to any outfit. The overall design of a sweaty band is fairly simple. The velvet back allows for the headband to be non-slip when it is encountered with the hair of a person. The headband has a black band at the end to allow it to be connected to the rest of the headband, and this allows for it to fit around the user's head. And each headband has a different front design that allows customers to show their personality. Here's an example of a Cincinnati Reds headband, and on the front it has the Reds logo. As you can see, there's also a little Sweaty Bands logo on the end of the headband, which shows consumers and customers that this is a sweaty band. And then the back does have that velvet backing, so it is non-slip. And then there is the black band to keep it connected. So a use in everyday life, I've seen this honestly become more of a cultural practice. For example, I am a Cincinnati native, and this headband can show the different aspects of culture in my life and a little bit about my own history. The Cincinnati Reds are a huge component to Cincinnati life in the spring and summer months, so being a Reds fan and even attending the games, I become a part of the culture, and having this Reds sweaty band, it allows me to show that I am a Reds fan and that I do support the Cincinnati Reds. And another aspect of culture that this sweaty band represents is that I also support local Cincinnati business. Like I said, Sweaty Band's headquarters is in Cincinnati, Ohio, and while I wear a sweaty band, I feel like I'm representing a little bit about my hometown. And also another way I can show how sweaty bands have become a use in my everyday life, it does kind of show that I do like to be active because it was primarily made for being active and keeping hair back when doing exercise. Sweaty bands are pretty prevalent in the media. I know, for example, word of mouth was a big way these became a big popularity in the Cincinnati area and now even around the world. I know I heard about sweaty bands through my friends, and because they do have that little Sweaty Bands logo on the side, when someone is wearing them, someone can be like, oh, like, what is that? And then someone can be able to tell them. So word of mouth is a big way they're prevalent in the media. Sweaty Bands also has their own website, which I got a lot of information from. They also have an Instagram account and a Facebook account that have followers that people can stay in the know with Sweaty Bands, what they're doing promotionally, and new products they're getting in. Another way is at marathons. Sweaty Bands has a team of people go and sell sweaty bands, and they make custom ones for their companies and for the races. So that is a great way Sweaty Bands ties in with like businesses and even athletes, and just getting their name out there for different marathons. Overall, the Sweaty Band is a product of culture because it was created to solve a problem. Donna Browning realized that there needed to be a headband that was non-slipped, and so that's where the design aspect came in of the Sweaty Band, where she put the velvet backing on the back of the headband to make it non-slip to the hair, and that allowed to enhance the quality of the human experience while they are exercising or doing any different type of activity. And it has become part of a social and cultural practice. For example, the Cincinnati Reds headband, when I wear it, I feel like my culture is showed to the world because I am from Cincinnati and I am a Cincinnati Reds fan, so showing that to the world just shows a little bit about my personality, and others are allowed to see that. And then it's very prevalent in the media because of word of mouth and also their social media accounts. And they also have various types of YouTube videos that show sweaty bands being used in everyday life. And it is linked with consumerism because when you have a headband or anything that represents something you're really passionate about, for example, the Cincinnati Reds, you're more apt to buy it. So Sweaty Bands has allowed their headband to become more than just an object. It's become a way of life and even a way to show your personality to the world. Thank you for watching my video about sweaty bands, and I hope you learned a little bit more about the design aspect and how it can relate to everyday life.